It was supposed to be just another morning commute in Florida, sun blazing across the asphalt, traffic humming in its usual rhythm. But for Terera, a county jail nurse with a short fuse and a heavy foot, that day would turn into the one she'd never forget. It started at the intersection of Pine and Maple, where a minor traffic annoyance spiraled into chaos. Witnesses later said Terera had been weaving between lanes, cutting off other drivers, and brake-checking anyone who got too close. Behind her was Kaylee, a young woman heading to work who suddenly found herself trapped in a dangerous game she didn't sign up for. Each time Kaylee tried to change lanes and create space, Terera swerved to block her, until the inevitable happened. Metal collided with metal, and both cars screeched to a stop. Kaylee jumped out, shaken but furious, dialing 911 before the dust even settled. "She kept brake-checking me," Kaylee told dispatch, her voice trembling. "She's trying to make it look like it's my fault." On the other side of the crash, Terera sat in her car, door jammed shut, her pride bruised more than her body. When officers arrived, what they expected to be a routine accident report quickly turned into something far more volatile. "Ma'am, can I see your license and registration?" the officer asked politely through her half-cracked window. But instead of cooperating, Terera's jaw tightened. "I work at the jail," she snapped. "I know my rights." The tension in her voice was sharp enough to slice through steel. The officer gave a patient smile, the kind that comes from experience, and asked again. Still nothing. When he gently requested that she step out of the vehicle, Terera slammed her door shut and started shouting. "Back up! You're on my property," she barked, waving her arms wildly. Her words began to slur, her movements erratic. Then came the moment that changed everything. She opened her door suddenly, lunging toward the officers, yelling, "Don't touch me!" I said no. The officers warned her to stay back, but she kept advancing, loud, defiant, and reckless. Within seconds, the situation escalated. "Step out of the car or you'll be tossed," the sergeant shouted. She didn't listen. The next sound was a crackle of electricity. Terera screamed, stumbled, and hit the ground. The dashcam caught every second, her resistance, her rage, her disbelief that this was happening to her. Lying on the pavement, hands cuffed behind her back, she gasped, "You can't arrest me. I work at the jail." But that title meant nothing now. The uniform she once wore was replaced by cold steel on her wrists. And as officers lifted her up and led her to the patrol car, the truth settled in, Terera wasn't going home that night. The woman who once watched over inmates was about to become one herself. The ride to the county jail was tense and humiliating. Blue and red lights flickered across the inside of the patrol car as Terera, still fuming, argued with the officers every few seconds. "You can't take me there. I work there," she shouted. Her voice cracked between anger and disbelief. But to the officers in front, she was no longer staff, she was a suspect in custody. The irony hit her hard when the patrol car turned down the long drive leading to the same facility where she had clocked in for years. It wasn't lost on anyone that the woman now in handcuffs had once walked those same halls in uniform, giving orders to inmates. Over the radio, one officer quietly informed dispatch, arriving with one combative subject, "She works here." The response came back laced with disbelief, "Copy that." Inside the intake bay, the atmosphere was thick with tension. The deputies who recognized her exchanged uneasy glances. She had a reputation, confident, outspoken, sometimes arrogant. But now, her makeup was smeared, her hair disheveled, and her voice shaky. "Get me out of these cuffs," she demanded. "You know me. I'm not supposed to be in here." The sergeant, maintaining calm authority, replied, "You're going to be treated like everyone else tonight." That sentence broke whatever pride she had left. "You can't do this," she whispered, her eyes darting around the room that once represented her control, now a symbol of her downfall. Medical staff approached to evaluate her after the tossing. She tried to refuse care at first, but when they asked if she needed an ambulance, she muttered, "I can't breathe. I don't like to be restrained." Her emotions swung between defiance and desperation. The deputies exchanged looks, she was spiraling. As her mugshot was taken, she avoided eye contact with the camera. "Smile," one deputy joked softly, but she didn't respond. The reality had sunk in, the nurse had become the inmate. After being placed in a holding cell, she kept yelling through the bars. "You're making a mistake. They were racing me. I didn't do anything wrong." Her voice echoed down the corridor she once patrolled in authority. Hours later, officers discussed her charges: resisting an officer with violence, battery on law enforcement, DUI with property damage, reckless driving, and refusal to submit to testing. It was a long list, one that could end her career permanently. When told she would need to take a urine test to determine if she was under the influence, she scoffed. "For what? I didn't take anything." But the slurred speech, erratic behavior, and aggressive resistance told a different story. She refused the test. The sergeant calmly explained, "That's your choice, but refusal means suspension of your license and additional charges." Her eyes flickered with panic, but it was too late. Every decision she made had built the case against her. From behind the glass, the staff who once worked alongside her watched in silence. No one spoke up. The woman who had claimed power over inmates now sat barefoot and broken, wearing the same wristbands she used to attach to others. As dawn crept through the jailhouse windows, the full weight of her fall hit her. She wasn't the nurse anymore. She was the story, the one every officer would talk about in hushed tones for weeks. By morning, the world outside already knew what had happened. The body cam footage, the dashcam angles, the shouting, all of it began circulating online. Headlines read, "County Jail Nurse Arrested After Road Rage and Taser Incident." The irony of a corrections employee becoming a viral arrest story wasn't lost on anyone. For Terera, it was the moment her private chaos became public humiliation. Inside her cell, she sat motionless, staring at the blank wall. The adrenaline had drained away, leaving only exhaustion and regret. Her thoughts raced, the flashing lights, the taser, the cold floor beneath her. She replayed it all in fragments, but the part that echoed loudest was her own voice, yelling at the officers, screaming about her job. "I work at the jail. I know my rights." Each word now sounded hollow. Hours later, an internal affairs investigator arrived to document her case. There was no special treatment. She was fingerprinted, photographed again, and processed like anyone else. Her badge, the one she had once worn proudly, was locked away as evidence. When asked to confirm her employment, she hesitated, then muttered, "Not anymore." Meanwhile, officers pieced together what really led to the crash. The independent witness who had stopped at the scene confirmed everything Kaylee said: the erratic driving, the brake checks, the near misses. The 911 call captured the sound of the collision live as it happened. And Kaylee's dashboard footage sealed it. Terera's reckless road rage had triggered the entire event. Back at the station, the lead officer finalized the report. Resisting an officer with violence, 3 counts. Battery on law enforcement, 2 counts. Reckless driving. DUI with property damage. Refusal to submit to DUI testing after prior suspension. Each charge stacked higher than her pride could reach. When the paperwork was complete, one deputy sighed, she really threw her career away in 15 minutes. As the day wore on, Terera's defiance began to crack. She begged to speak with a supervisor she knew. "Please, just tell them I'm not like this," she whispered through the bars. But the sergeant only shook his head. "Everyone's like this when they lose control," he said softly. "The badge doesn't make you untouchable." When she was finally released pending her court date, she stepped out into the blinding sunlight, the same road, the same sky, but a completely different reality. Her job was gone. Her license suspended. Her reputation shattered. The co-workers who once called her "one of us" now avoided her name altogether. That night, she scrolled through social media, seeing clips of herself screaming at officers. Strangers commented, mocked, dissected every second. It was no longer her story to control. And somewhere between the anger and the shame, she realized the truth: power isn't about the uniform you wear, it's about how you act when it's taken away. Terera's story became a reminder across the county: that respect is never owed, only earned, and that one burst of arrogance can burn down everything you've built. Her fall wasn't just from grace. It was from entitlement, and it was a long way down.